After 34 years of operating as the aviation industry's most notorious discount carrier, the bright yellow planes are officially grounded. Spirit Airlines' final flight has touched down in Dallas. The shutdown leaves 17,000 employees out of a job and completely evaporates a company that was once valued at $5.5 billion on the stock market. To understand a crash of this magnitude, we have to look at the way flying used to work. In the 1980s and 90s, buying an airline ticket meant purchasing a fully bundled package. Your seat selection, checked bags, and even meals were included in the upfront cost. Spirit stripped all of that away. They introduced unbundled fares, drastically lowering the base price of a ticket, while charging an additional fee for every basic amenity, for bag handling, picking where you sit, or even printing a boarding pass. This model was so successful, it forced the entire global airline industry to adapt. Yet, the pioneer that started it all eventually ended up in bankruptcy. The collapse demonstrates the inherent risk of the low-cost strategy. A business model built entirely on price offers no protection when the global economy shifts. Former CEO Ben Baldanza was the architect of this unapologetic frugality. Cost-cutting was the corporate philosophy. Baldanza famously ordered his burgers plain to avoid paying for pickles he didn't want, and flew in the same cramped economy seats as his customers. The flying public hated the experience. Passengers were infuriated seeing an itemized bill for every service, but they kept buying the tickets because those rock-bottom base fares were mathematically impossible to ignore. To keep those prices low, Spirit skipped traditional advertising. Instead, they weaponized tabloid-style outrage, running controversial, intentionally tasteless marketing campaigns to generate free publicity. Following the Deepwater Horizon disaster in 2010, the company ran an ad telling customers to check out the oil on our beaches, using a national catastrophe to sell tickets. When New York Congressman Anthony Weiner was caught in a sexting scandal, Spirit immediately launched a Weiner sale, advertising fares just too hard to resist. They actively hijacked the tabloid cycle for growth. This aggressive brand behavior was a machine designed to squeeze maximum profit out of razor-thin margins. By refusing to spend money on traditional corporate goodwill, they could keep base fares at the absolute floor. Spirit's rise triggered a panic among the legacy aviation giants. Airlines with decades of operating history realized they were losing price-conscious customers to the yellow planes. The industry mounted a counterattack by inventing basic economy class. They simply copied Spirit's unbundled fare structure and applied it to their own flights. This side-by-side chart shows the dilemma this created. On the left is a Spirit base fare, and on the right is a Legacy Airlines basic economy fare. Today, they often match perfectly. When prices are identical, passengers naturally choose the legacy carrier for its perceived reliability and larger global network. Teaching massive competitors how to successfully copy your only innovation effectively destroys your competitive moat. With their market advantage eroding, Spirit was exposed to the COVID-19 pandemic. Travel grounded to a halt, breaking the airline's high-volume operational math. To survive the travel drought, Spirit accumulated over $2.5 billion in debt. This interest-heavy burden meant the company had almost no cash left to handle any future shocks. That shock arrived with the strikes on Iran. The geopolitical conflict in the Middle East immediately sent global energy markets into a panic. Global crude oil prices surged past $100 a barrel, doubling jet fuel costs. Most airlines use fuel hedging or business class seats to offset spikes. Spirit had neither and couldn't raise prices without losing customers to legacy carriers matching their fares. For an airline already carrying billions in debt, the surge in fuel costs meant the business was spending cash faster than it could generate it through ticket sales. The company made a desperate final scramble to stay afloat, filing for bankruptcy twice by cutting routes and squeezing concessions from employee unions. When private financing was exhausted, leadership looked for a government lifeline. They entered talks with the Trump administration for a potential taxpayer-funded bailout or takeover, but the negotiations stalled before a deal could be reached. The primary lesson for any disruptor is that price alone is not a durable business strategy. If your only advantage is being the cheapest, well-resourced giants will eventually find a way to match you and starve you out. Today, Spirit Airlines has officially grounded its fleet, but the unbundled, fee-heavy reality they introduced has become the permanent industry standard.